All right, good morning again, everyone. So it is the 18th of May. It is Wednesday morning here. Again, on Wednesday mornings, what we'll go through will be the pound dollar, a recap of the euro pound. I think today I might actually look at the pound yen as well. A couple of news to be had, especially for this week with the pound. So a couple of things to get through. If you are watching us on YouTube, just make sure you check your charts before you get into a trade, because this is uploaded later onto YouTube. Make sure you join us in the club to get this earlier, just so that if we have any trade ideas, any trade opportunities, you might be able to jump into them as it happens. Right. So again, club members, welcome. If you have any questions, put it into the chat or put it into the club platform. I'm monitoring that throughout the day just so that I can guide you through your trades. So as usual, any information shared in this video is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of myself. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. Right, so what have we had for, hang on just a second. So what have we had for this couple of days? We've seen, especially with the pound in focus, we've seen the pound dollar climb significantly, right? So I'll show you quickly here the chart first. What we saw was the pound dollar climbing since the 17th yesterday, all the way, or 16th at 9 o'clock, all the way up. It's actually gone from that 1.2253 level all the way now, just sitting below that 1.25 level, right? So it came in a couple of hours ago. Last candle, it hit that 1.25 level there, and then it seems to be turning back down. I'm not too sure whether the move has ended, because there is a couple of news to be had for the pound dollar later today. So I'm not too sure whether it's a good time to sell it back down. Could be a higher risk trade to sell it back down, or can we see the pound dollar push higher, as we were telling our club members last night during the club session. So a lot of move in the pound dollar, same move we saw in the pound yen as well. So pound yen went up quite significantly together with the pound dollar. We were looking last night together with the club members whether it was going to break that 162 level. Doesn't seem like it's happening. Looks like it might track back down again. So that trade idea on the 162 is now invalid. Right. So why has the pound dollar been pushing higher? What's happening, and can it go any higher? Let's look at the news here. The main reason why it shot up was because of that news on Monday, on the 16th of May at 10:15 p.m. GMT +8. The UK monetary policy report hearings came out, and that release came out saying that where is it? Apocalyptic food and energy prices are coming. They're talking about real income shock. They're talking about inflation running very high. So as inflation is running that high, and we're talking about a 10%, a projection of 10% in Q4 in 2022, if you read through the hearings report, at 10% inflation, we're looking towards the Bank of England to take on a more aggressive stance towards their policy adjustments. We're looking at possibly further rate increases and possibly more aggressive rate increases to be had from the Bank of England. That's why when after this news came around, we saw the pound dollar push higher, because they're pricing in the likelihood of a rate increase or aggressive rate increase to come from the Bank of England. With that, it continued through. So that was Monday night, we saw that news. On Tuesday, that move continued through as we saw the dollar weaken against across the board. And today is going to be quite crucial. At 2 p.m. GMT +8, we have the UK, the pound CPI number year on year. You can see that previous was 7%. They're expecting a 9.1. So again, CPI is the inflation number. And if we do see inflation run higher, again, that likelihood of the Bank of England increasing rates or taking a more aggressive stance to rates increase is going to be priced in. So likelihood we might see this at a 9.1. I'm thinking even a 9.2, 9.3 number. So we might see this be quite high. And if we do see that, if we do see that at a 9.1 and above, then we're likely to see the pound dollar climb higher. Right now, it's just sitting right below that 1.25 level. If we do see this as a strong inflation data, we could see it break above 1.25 and push quite significantly higher. So I'll tell you more, I'll show you more about that onto the charts slightly later. With that said, not much else until the CAD CPI month-on-month number and year-on-year number to be released. Club members, I'll update you on this possible trade idea in the club platform. We talk about the CAD on Fridays, so we do a recap of that when it happens. With all that, the other thing to pay attention to, and it's quite interesting what has been happening, is early this morning we had at 2 a.m. the US Fed Chair Powell speaking. Right, he was speaking at the Wall Street Journal's Future of Everything Festival in New York. This is a video, so I'm not going to play the video, and you need a subscription to watch the whole thing. So this is a video that it went through. I watched it, and a lot of key points. The key points you can see here as well. You know, we know it's a time for Fed to tightly focus on getting inflation down, coming from Fed Chair Powell. So they're talking about the FOMC needs to bring inflation down. By standards of central bank practice, we're moving as fast as we have in several decades. Neutral is not necessarily a stopping point. We'll go beyond if we will not hesitate to. And we clearly have to do a job on cooling demand, right? So Fed Chair Powell coming out, being very hawkish in his comments about bringing down inflation, and talking about, you know, the stance towards adjusting policy, increasing rates aggressively if required. To add on to that as well, we've seen a lot of other members come out and support that, saying Fed member Evans came out saying that it's likely the Fed will raise rates above neutral, sees slowing pace of hikes to 25 before December tweet. So they're looking at least a few 25 basis points. Before that, they were talking about, you know, pushing it to 50 basis points at several meetings following. So very aggressive stance coming from the FOMC members. But with all that comments, we're still seeing the dollar not pushing significantly higher. Usually, when FOMC members come out and comment about rates, that they're going to increase rates aggressively or they're going to take action to lower inflation, we're going to see the dollar push big time towards the upside. What has happened now is that it hasn't pushed that towards the upside. At 2 a.m. this morning, it's actually continued dropping. But one thing to note is that it seems to have found a base at this 103 level. Yesterday, when I was talking about this, I was looking to see if it was support 104 and bounce up. Doesn't seem like it's happening at this point right now. Just shifting the arrow down. Are we looking at 103 at a base, and for the dollar index to push up towards that 104 level? I think this will probably happen, but not immediately. I think it's going to stretch on a little bit, because you can see that at 103, it has tested, bounced back up, tested again, bounced back up. It doesn't go straight towards 104. it goes to at about 103.60 before retracing and then testing higher again. So I think that we're going to see dollar strengthen possibly today, pushing a little bit higher, especially because of what the Fed members are saying, and also because of yesterday's retail sales number that came out. Although it was negative, worse than expected, but it's still a positive number there. So still a growth towards retail sales. I think that we're likely to see the dollar push towards the upside, possibly later into the session, stretch it out a little bit. With all that, what this means to the currency in focus, the dollar, the pound dollar, looking at the pound dollar here, now sitting at this 124.73 level. I want to see what happens at this point. So I'll move this away. So I want to see what happens at this point. I believe that at 2 p.m., sorry, put that at 2 p.m. there. So that's 1 p.m. At 2 p.m. here, we're likely to see the news release, the CPI data release at that 9% level for the UK, which could push the pound dollar towards the upside. So what I'm looking for is short-term buying opportunities above 1.25. So you can be looking at a buying opportunity above 1.25. I would say be a bit safer. 1.2510. About a 40 pips stop loss, take profit, 80 pips to start off with, a 1:2 risk reward ratio towards the upside because of that news, because of the likelihood that we're going to see that 9% release in terms of CPI data. With that, sorry, my voice is going. With that, what could happen from now till 2 p.m.? I think we're going to see the pound dollar track lower. We're going to see the pound dollar track lower. I don't think it's going to move all the way towards that 1.2427 level. Right? I don't think it's going to come all the way there. Why this level? It's because of this low point here back in the 28th of April. If you were to adjust this level, we could actually move it to the middle of this point, 28th of April, and also towards that point, the 9th of May and the 11th of May, where we see it test these levels. So at about 1.24 round number. I don't think the pound dollar is likely to track all the way down before bouncing back up. I think it's going to sit there over the next couple of hours, sit at this level before the news coming out. And if it's that strong number, we're going to see it push up above that 1.25. Then you have your buying opportunity, a 1:2 risk reward ratio towards the upside. If this does push up towards the upside, another trade idea could be on the pound yen, but I'm not so keen on it just because the 162 is a key level and we can see this tracking lower. So just be very careful with the pound yen. Could still move up, but I prefer the pound dollar. On another one would be the euro pound. Euro pound we spoke about yesterday. This was a trade I got into. After the call, we had the order there. It went down, hit our take profit, and then bounced straight back up. During the call last night with our club members, I was saying that it would be too late to enter the trade. At this point, it's reloaded. If we do see the pound dollar push up again, that's going to be very likely to push the euro pound back down towards the downside. At this similar price level, you're looking at a 30 pip stop loss, a 40 pip take profit level, a 1:1, almost 1:1.5 risk reward ratio towards the downside. Why I think that the euro pound is likely to drop again, driven because of the pound dollar pushing higher, but also not just because of the pound dollar pushing higher, but also the euro dollar now looking like it's rejecting that 1.0545 level to move lower. So if the euro dollar does come down, and the pound dollar does push up because of its inflation data, then we're going to see the euro pound come down quite significantly back towards that 0.84 support level again. So this trade idea is a repeat of what we saw yesterday and quite likely to happen at a 1:1.5 risk reward ratio towards the downside. With that said, I think the pound dollar is the focus for today, and then later into the session tonight, you'll probably want to focus on the US CAD as the CAD CPI data is going to be released. I'll update you guys, club members, about my ideas on the US CAD. With that, trade well, trade safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.